It just wasn't working. And then when I did eventually find something, I didn't like it, you know. So I then simultaneously noticed that Nigerian men in particular were wearing real leather sandals, real leather slippers, you know, and I started asking questions, and I found out that quite a lot of local shoemakers were making shoes for men, mostly for men. So I now got a shoemaker, and then I started designing shoes for myself, you know. And then people saw the shoes I was making for myself, and they were like, "Oh, these are nice. Where'd you get them?" I'm like, "I made them." "What do you mean you made them?" I was like, "I designed them and got them made for me." You know, "No, I'd like a pair, I'd like a pair, I'd like a pair." From there, you know, people started showing interest, and then I did it for a while, you know. And then I dumped it because I wasn't serious about it. Then I think I turned 39. And I started thinking to myself, you know, I really do want to do something significant, just something different, you know, get out of the regular, you know. I wanted something that people would remember me for, you know, that kind of thing, make an impression, not just pass through life, you know. And I was practicing law, but I'd also dabbled into a few things because, like I said, I'm an artistic person, so I'd gone in and out of, you know, arty things, so to speak, organized concerts, a lot of music things, you know, and all of that. So I got to like a crossroad, like, you know, what do you want to do with your life and all of that? And a friend advised me to pray. He was my pastor. He asked me to pray about it, and I prayed about it. And I felt like, oh, let's go make shoes, you know. And that's how I started the business. We have our ready-to-wear line, so you can come into the store and or showroom and pick up a pair or 2 or 10 in your size, buy presents for people, you know, and all of that. The other thing that we do is that, and we have shoes for men, you know, so these are like our line, party line. People who have, you know, dressy things they want to wear with traditional outfits, you know. Or you want to wear some of these like for office wear, you can wear with a suit. You can also wear it with buba and shokoto, you know. You can come in and shop, or you can come in and place an order. Say you have a party coming up, you know, like our female shoes. Every part of it is like cut, like the sole, you know. We have to cut the sole. This sole comes like a flat sheet, so you have to cut it into shape. You have to cut the insole, you know, wrap it. You have to prepare the uppers, you know, and then even this. So one pair, if you're just doing one pair start to finish, can take you 4-5 hours, depending on the style and the details of the shoes. Mona Matthews is 18 years this January. When we first started, it was getting visibility, but thank God now we're online, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we have a website, you know. So as long as you know we're Mona Matthews, searching for us, Google is your friend, as they say, you know. So we've been able to overcome that. We have testimonies of clients who have worn our shoes for 10 years. And they're still wearing them, you know. There are a few tanneries in the north that tan leather from the beginning to the finished product, you know. But the quantities that they demand that we buy are so huge that for the size of our company, we can't afford to buy. And we want to have the variety, you know, because the way we fashion our business is like a family store. So a couple can come in, they can buy something for their teenage son, they can buy something for their mother, you know. But so we can't produce thousands and thousands of pairs of just one color, one design and all of that. So that's part of the challenge that we have at the moment. But I like to look at these things as opportunities for growth. The most exciting bit of it, I think, is the fact that I am an artistic person and I am able to express that in my work, you know. At the same time, I'm bringing solutions to people's needs. I call myself the footwear solution provider. There are loads of people that have either large feet or they have extremely narrow feet. So in my creativity and all of that, I factor all of those things and I bring out designs that look nice, are comfortable and elegant, you know, all at the same time. And so when you see your clients wearing the things that you sat down to design and factor all of that, it's really a blessing. I doubt that I will go back to law full-time anytime soon. However, I never say never. You never know what's out there, you know. So I keep my ears open, my eyes on the Lord, and I trust Him whichever way He leads. I'm really passionate about Made in Nigeria. I feel aggrieved that we import practically everything. Thank God that now we're producing rice and some other products, you know. But I don't think it's enough to just produce the raw material. I think we have to, whatever we're producing, we should take it to the finished product, what the consumers can use. And Nigeria actually produces one of the best types of leather in the world, and it's a shame that we would then be importing every kind of footwear that we use in the country, you know. So I'm an advocate for us processing our raw materials in Nigeria and adding value to it before we begin to export them or sell them to other people. As you can see, I'm wearing my Mona Matthews sneakers. This is not your regular 9 to 5, but I'm so pleased with what I do.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect am.
If you no talk, dem go beat you.
Na 2,500 I dey pay.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, have you?
I am not hungry. If I need appointment, all I need to do is to start praising government.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Everybody come and say.
The moment we stop having charlatans occupy political offices, we will curtail hate speech.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
We can't talk about education reform if we don't decolonize our education system.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize. Because it's just cultural. And I think it's just human nature.
They stop paying us salary. I don't like remembering it.
I am angry at Nigeria. I'm angry at this government which seems to be letting us.
Thanks for joining us on Plus News Updates. I am Osaogie Ogbonwa. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has approved the use of Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine in Nigeria. The Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, made the announcement during a live briefing on Thursday. She said that the vaccine can be stored at 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. According to the DG, there are 3 additional vaccines undergoing evaluation, but evaluation on AstraZeneca shows that the vaccine is effective against the UK variant of the virus, which has been reported in Nigeria. Professor Adeyeye disclosed that the South African variant has not been reported in Nigeria, adding that the agency has over 30 herbal medicines undergoing review for listing. And barely 24 hours after the abduction of 41 school students, teachers and family members from Government Science College, Kagara, gunmen, have again attacked some communities in Shiroro local government area of Niger State. A resident is said to have been killed and at least 2 others injured, while a yet-to-be ascertained number of persons have been abducted. The villages attacked include Sarakinzama, Lagbe, Siyoko, Koki, and other adjoining villages, all in Grumana ward of Shiroro local government area. The co-convener concerned Shiroro youths, Sani Koki, said the attack took place on Wednesday night when the state was still grappling with the shock of the abduction of students, teachers, and others at the GSSS Kagara. According to Mr. Koki, the gunmen stormed the villages in large numbers, heavily armed. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has met behind closed doors with Governor Abubakar Bello of Niger at the State House in Abuja. The governor was in the State House to update the president on the security situation in his state, where some staff and students of Government Science Secondary School, Kagara, Rafi Council area of the state, were abducted by gunmen on Wednesday morning. The president had earlier in a statement by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, condemned the abduction and dispatched a team of top security officials to the state to coordinate the rescue operation in the state. Buhari also expressed sadness over the killing of one of the students by the kidnappers, vowing not to relent until normalcy is restored in the security situation in the country. Nigeria's Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Magashi, retired, has rallied Nigerians to defend themselves against bandits who have turned kidnapping into a thriving business. Magashi speaking against the backdrop of the abduction of 42 people, including pupils, from the Government Science College, Kagara, Niger State, early on Wednesday, told reporters in Abuja that the bandits were having a field day because they knew people in communities they attack would not fight back. Magashi, while fielding questions from reporters in Abuja, urged Nigerians to defend themselves against bandits and stop being cowardly. According to him, tackling the increasing insecurity in the country is the responsibility of all.
Is it the responsibility of the military alone? It's the responsibility of everybody to keep alert and find safety when necessary. But we shouldn't be cowards. At times, the banditry will only come with about 3 rounds of ammunition. When they fire shot, everybody runs. In our younger days, we stand to fight any aggression coming to us. I don't know why people are running away from Mano, things like that. They should stand and let these people know that even the villagers, they have the competence and capability to defend themselves. But our own duty is to ensure no Nigerian is hurt and we're capable of protecting the integrity of this nation. And I will continue to do it.
The Niger state government has released the names of students, teachers, and other residents abducted from the government science secondary school, Kagara. A list which emanated from the State Ministry of Education shows 27 students were abducted alongside 5 staff and 9 members of their families, making a total of 41 persons abducted from the school. 3 of the staff abducted are teachers, while 2 are non-teaching staff. The names of the students are Jamilu Issa, Shem Joshua, Abbas Abdullahi, Issa Abdullahi, Ezekiel Danladi, Haliru Shuibu, and Mahmoudou Suleiman. And the others are going to show on your screen. Still on Plus News Updates, the Nigerian Army says its troops of Operation Tura Take Bango have eliminated more Boko Haram terrorists at their meeting point in Bayomari town in Yobe. The Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Mohammed Yerima, said the troops operating in Operation Lafia Dole had continued to degrade the terrorists in the northeast. Yerima said troops of 159 and 233 battalions, in conjunction with the Civilian Joint Task Force, had on Tuesday engaged the terrorists following credible information on movement of the terrorists to Bayomari. He said that the troops engaged the terrorists with fierce volume of fire and neutralized 2 of them, and some escaped with gunshot wounds. And President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Ogbonnaya Orji as the Executive Secretary, Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NETI. The Director, Information, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Willie Bassi, announced the appointment via a statement issued on Thursday in Abuja. The statement said that Orji's appointment was for a single term of 5 years. Orji takes over from Waziri Adio, whose tenure expires on Thursday, February 18th. Until his appointment, Orji was the agency's Director of Communications and Advocacy. He began his career at the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria and also worked with the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, where he managed several donor-funded projects. And now in other parts of Africa, Senegal has received its first delivery of COVID-19 vaccines, which it purchased from China's Sinopharm. Like other African countries that have struggled to procure vaccines, Senegal turned to China as it awaits disbursements through African Union and the World Health Organization-backed programs. The 200,000 doses, enough to vaccinate 100,000 people, arrived on a chartered Air Senegal flight from Beijing to Dakar, where they were received by President Macky Sall and the Chinese ambassador to Nigeria. As a lower middle-income country, Senegal is eligible for around 1.3 million doses for free in the first wave of disbursement from the WHO COVAX program. But shipments are not expected to start until late February, and most will arrive in March. Still in other parts of Africa, Africa's total reported death toll from COVID-19 is approaching 100,000, a fraction of those reported on other continents, but rising fast as a second wave of infections overwhelms hospitals. The continent's reported deaths at 99,800 compare favorably with North America, which has registered more than 500,000, and Europe, which is approaching 900,000. But deaths are rising sharply across Africa, driven by its southern region, especially economic powerhouse South Africa, which accounts for nearly half. South Africa was ravaged by a second wave caused by a more contagious variant that has jammed up casualty wards.
So it was bad. It was very bad.
People were dying, eh?
People were dying. I don't know how many people I declared before I entered in office during the COVID time. I'm very happy and very excited. I was looking forward even from the previous one that was put on hold.
It gives us another layer of protection in the fight against this disease, and I'd encourage everyone to please take the vaccine. This vaccine gives us hope.
The good news is that we know that this vaccine works here, so we don't need to show efficacy. That's the important thing, the effectiveness we've got.
Now in sports, defending champion Novak Djokovic has declared himself fighting fit for the Australian Open final after ending the incredible run of Russian qualifier Aslan Karatsev with his best match of the tournament on Thursday. The Serbian world number one eased into his ninth decider at Melbourne Park with a 6-3, 6-4, 6-2 win under the lights at Rod Laver Arena, and would battle either Stefanos Tsitsipas or Daniil Medvedev for the title. While Karatsev would have been regarded as one of Djokovic's most unlikely semi-final opponents, the world number 114 put up a decent show at Rod Laver Arena as fans returned to Melbourne Park following a 5-day lockdown.
This is best as I felt in the entire tournament. I mean, felt great. I could swing through the ball. I mean, no pain. Just best match so far. It came at the right time, and I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to feel this way, for sure. I'll definitely train one of the next 2 days. Probably more likely the one that is closer to the finals on Saturday. But, recovery is priority right now. I'm feeling the ball well. I'm playing well. I had enough match play, enough practice. So right now it's just gathering all the necessary energy for the most important match of Australian Open.
And that's the news at this hour. For more news updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and also our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. We'll be back later with more stories. I am Osaogie Ogbonwa. Thank you for watching.
Even if INEC opens their portal today for continuous registration, we would rather complain than go to register.
If we go and know, are we going to change Africa? Because what did they do to make our lives better since then?
Stories will inspire you.
Inspire us to be like who? Like our Lord.
Inspire you to know that once upon a time, some people also struggled.
They don't even consider it that it's important to make the place conducive for people living with disabilities.
More accessible.
Because Nigeria has actually gone too far the other way.
I
to come back to look after the disabled.
Somebody rigs the election and then he's, fraudulently sworn in. He goes for Thanksgiving. The rest of us will join, Your Excellency.
Yeah.
But the day he's removed, we say he was corrupt.
Don't forget the political angle.
You mean brown envelope will stop?
No, brown envelope will, I don't want to say will not stop, but I've done hand like this, Sha. But quickly.
For upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bukky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Comic Republic is a Nigerian startup where we tell African stories. We push the African narrative forward through a traditional art form that is popular all around the world, which is comic books.
We kind of write stories that everybody can find a bit of themselves somewhere in there. You know, when you read our books, you will always be able to find one book that you are able to connect with even if you're not an African. It's not just for Africans alone, but it's the African narrative. That's really what we do.
We take the process of telling our stories, making our comic books engaging. We do it professionally and we take it as a business. We're growing bigger every day.
We try to make sure that all of our comics, all of our content has a positive message underlying them, even apart from all the action, all the punching, and all the superheroics.
Right now we have close to 48,000 downloads per comic book. We get between 5,000 to 7,000 unique visitors every week. Nigerians have been really excited to see people in Nigeria creating heroes from Nigerians, telling Nigerians that we can be everything we need to be if we only try. The comic business actually has a wide range.
One of the major things that actually helps us to move forward here is the fact that we are more than just a team, we are a family. And family is everything. We understand ourselves, we know what we're meant to do when we're meant to do, and we get them done.
The first and foremost vision for Comic Republic is to take control of the African narrative. Who are the biggest superheroes you know today? You're looking at Spider-Man, Captain America, and Superman. If you look at the colors of their uniform, they're all the colors of the American flag. If you look at where those people come from, they come from America. This is a way that a country has from generation to generation, program their people to believe that they are strong and they are efficient. We want to do the same with Comic Republic. That's what we want to do at Comic Republic. That's our vision. And until we're number one at that in the world, we're not going to stop.
Traffic signs are important indicators that direct and inform commuters and motorists of dangers ahead. The National Bureau of Statistics has shown that there are about 11.8 million licensed cars on Nigeria's roads as at fourth quarter of 2018, compared to 11.6 million in the preceding year 2017. With an estimated population of 198 million, Nigeria's vehicle per population ratio is 0.06. Road traffic signs serve several purposes. Some are placed on the roads to point out directions to motorists. Some are placed to ensure the safety of motorists and pedestrians. How much of these signs are known to Nigerians?
That shows that the road is free for somebody to walk. That the traffic light is indicating red and it's time for you to walk across the traffic, issued in case need be.
Majorly, it's meant for while children are meant to cross the road. So there's need for every vehicle that was passing by at that particular moment to stop by for them.
Facing me is don't turn left. Because if it was like this, I would say don't turn right. So it's if you see the sign showing like this, it's don't turn left.
It's a sign putting it on restricted areas where it is not necessary for such a vehicle to enter, especially a vehicle that has lower height. It's not to enter in such a place.
Road signs are typically represented as symbols or annotations. Every motorist, and in some cases, pedestrians, are expected to have an understanding of what these signs represent. It is crucial for authorities in charge to produce road signs with symbols together with their meanings spelled out.
We need signs. Every country, every city needs traffic signs, otherwise there will be chaos on the roads. Drivers would not be informed. Nobody would know who has a right or who does not have a right. What can you do? What can you not do? Are you going to warn me about an impediment in front of me or not? So signs are critical. It's not about anyone taking advantage. It's about us utilizing it for our own safety benefit. In a city like Lagos or any large city, there are more pedestrians on the road, more than vehicles. And pedestrians are more vulnerable than vehicular movement because a vehicle is a matter that is enclosed, and so the occupant of a vehicle feels safer. Whereas a pedestrian is vulnerable because it's only their body structure, so on impact of anything, there will be serious injury. Any new road being constructed in Lagos must have a requisite walkway. Zebra crossing, typically in Nigeria, Some drivers, when you tell them like, oh, why have you not allowed the pedestrian to cross at the zebra crossing? And the driver will turn back and say, well, I can't see no zebra. You must, as a motorist, you must stop and give priority to the pedestrian to cross. That's the purpose of zebra crossings.
Inappropriate parking on the road is another disturbing habit. Where can drivers park on the road in case of necessity?
Typically speaking, when you go and apply for a driver's license, you are foremost trained to say to you that where you park is very important because it borders on safety and it borders on obstruction of other road users. And so the first job of any driver or a motorist is that wherever you've parked, you must ask yourself the question, is it safe? Is it obstructive? Do I have any traffic signs that bans me from parking at this spot? If you're able to answer all those questions in the affirmative, then you're good to go. And it's not just that. You have to also ask, can where I have chosen to park, can it be perceived by enforcement agency to be obstructive or just not an appropriate place to park? I.e., it is not appropriate to park on an express road that even has 3 lanes, even for 1 second. Because why? From a safety point of view, vehicles on an express will be on a higher speed. If you park there and you obstruct, you're forcing them to change lanes. Now, forcing someone to change lanes on an express on high speed is very dangerous. More than likely, it will lead to a crash. So you can't park there. If you go to a market and you do not go into an off-street parking space or go and find a side street that is not obstructive to parking, and you now say, oh, because other people are parking there, I just want to park for 1 minute. 1 minute is more than enough for an accident to happen. 1 minute is more than enough for obstruction to other traffic flow to occur. So your 1 minute to you may be small, but for the country, for the state, for agency like ours, 1 minute at an inappropriate place is obstructive. And then that vehicle, if we have a tow vehicle, we will tow it.
What are the transportation agencies in Nigeria doing to educate citizens and motorists?
With a program like yours, it's all part of the education links that we have, that we use. Federal Road Safety Corps, LAMATA, LASMA, any agency that has anything to do with safety on the roads, with transportation, would always look for an avenue to educate the citizenry. There's a purpose for the road. Your purpose is to move from point A to B, not to abuse other road users. Don't take advantage of vulnerable road users like children and the elderly and pedestrians. Don't say because you're inside your car that you just have rights to do whatever you want.
Obey the road signs and remember not to drive under any influence.
We can't talk about education reform if we don't decolonize our education system.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize. Because it's just cultural. And I think it's just human nature.
They stop paying us salary. I don't like remembering it.
I am angry at Nigeria. I'm angry at this government which seems to be letting us down. I'm angry at us as a people.
In the process of struggling to free myself from his hand, he tore my pants and he raped me.
Yes, I commit offense truly.
Young girl, do you know where you are going? I say, I'm going to America. I say, oh. Now so that they talk, you are going to Libya, which America?
As it then do mark our place, some people they die now.
This is Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here. Contrary to popular belief, Corona is not a hoax. The virus is real. Be responsible. Wear a mask. Wash your hands with soap and water and avoid crowded places. Maintain physical distancing. Be responsible. Together, we can overcome the pandemic.
I say entrepreneurship is like faith. You know, faith is substance of things hoped for, an evidence of things not seen.
I honestly think I have what it takes to be successful. Not only being successful, but I believe that I have what it takes to build a very strong company, a brand that survives even when I've left.
Because my kids lives in Canada, they ask, what do you do in Africa? So they think Africa is, Lion King, it's a jungle. So they were amazed to say, what do you do in Africa, Dad? So I say computer. I say, no, computer with the lions?
So entrepreneurship is that you create these things in your mind, you can't touch them. They're just ideas in your mind, and you hope and believe that they'll become things.
Startup, for me, I understand, is where you want to start up a business. You come up with a plan, an idea, maybe where you want to have your business and what you want to do.
So startup is like when you are starting your business or an idea that you have and you want to put it in practical way.
Startup is a businesses that are just being invented, or someone has just found an interest in a particular product and they want to introduce it into the market.
The quality of a good startup, one, is maybe you have an idea. You cannot just start up a business without an idea.
Definitely you have to address a particular need. You have identified your market and you've seen a niche, so you have to bring into your startup to fill that gap.
The startup phase is when you have dreamt of an idea to be able to solve a certain solution in the community. You bootstrap the process, and then you get to the point where you have a viable product or viable service that you're showing to people. Could be the first 3 to 4 years of your work, right, where people don't know you yet. But once you're making an impact in the lives of people, you're solving a specific problem. That, for me, it's just the beginning as a startup, right? And then, of course, you go to the point where you've done this for several years. You're seemingly successful, and therefore people are asking for your service, or you're bringing in new products.
Yeah, I'm good.
3, 2, 1, go.
Now let me be serious. My name is Ronald Hakiza, and I am a co-founder at yugabus.com. I am 27 years of age, of course making 28 very soon, and I come from Kisoro. I'm single, I'm not yet married. I work at Yugabus, and Yugabus is an online bus ticketing company. So we offer travelers or anyone who is traveling by bus a web and mobile application to book any bus to travel anywhere across East Africa.
My name is Eunice Mainamburu, the CEO and founder of Bismart Insurance. Bismart is an online integrated insurance platform that enables customers to choose the right insurance for themselves. This is through comparing from multiple insurance companies.
My name is Chimenye Mabre, and I'm CEO of Algorithm. And we produce software, and which called Ishiga software. We are in an information era where when you know, you are more rich than someone who doesn't know. We produce software, and which called Ishiga software. Ishiga was created 10 years ago. Starting in Canada, I was working in a night shop where they was using a software. Then I was impressed how they do their reports easily, how my bosses, my managers can see everything without even being there. The problem pharmacists was facing before we came in is the administrative work, let's call it like that. In a pharmacy, they have to manage insurances prices. We have like 18 insurances. Everyone is dropping his prices. They have drugs. Drugs, they expire. They are not like other goods. And when it expired, you can't give to someone. Every pharmacy was isolated, every warehouses. So there was no way these people can see their data in one master data. So we created Ishiga Live, which was taking all this data. So all this headache, we try to resolve them inside our software, putting them in the cloud. So if you are anywhere, you can come and view your data. You can make one giant supermarket because you are inside, but to make a chain of pharmacies or supermarket, you need software to manage all the data, to know everything everywhere, every time, so you can control the finance, the stock, the inventory. So we are working with hotels and bars. So waiters use this tablet, and they can order in front of you. They can order your goods, what you want. Then it goes directly in the kitchen. Then they can start preparing it, or drinks. There is a mentality. So this is a challenge which we will be facing soon. It's the mentality of African business or governments, where they don't trust like African solutions, especially in software. Challenges faced was two. One was to find skilled people, and the second was to find big contract which can sustain our company. We trained 20 to 40 students from undergraduate. We give them the way how to code in industry. So from there we take 5 top. So this fixed the problem of skills. How I'm different is when I started the company, I used to do things myself. Now everything is not connected to me. The business has to run without me. Nothing is magic here. Everyone who arrives somewhere is working day and night. You sleep when you have to sleep. To do it outside funding, it's a family like spirit. You do with what you have. So you try using, like even Steve Jobs or this like Mark Zuckerberg, all started with garage. So all you need is really to find this garage and try to do this small stuff.
For money to come in, we had to allocate ourselves responsibilities. I was in charge of marketing. My colleague was in charge of growth and managing developers. So when we allocated each other responsibilities, then we moved to finding the resources to make sure this company works. Because when we are just starting, there's no profit being made. You get it? And then that is when someone walks up to me, and who could be my aunt, and says, you know what, I will support with some startup. You get it? Some little money. And then from there, everything else starts falling into place when the business has taken shape. You get it? Yeah. By taking shape, I mean when you can wake up one morning and be sure that at least even if I am not there, someone traveling to Nairobi, to Kisoro, to Kigali, to Juba will be able to still get served.
I would have started more leaner.
Lean startup means is that you are looking at your processes, right? And you are trying to cut off some things that you think are not really needed at the moment. Do you get it? So for example, if you look at your financial model, what you think you could spend on that particular product, select a particular target market,
Look at actually what you actually need to be able to bring that product and then build upon as time goes on. You want to learn faster. You want to pivot faster than anybody. So it's, and that relates to failure. You have to fail sometimes. Do you get it? Because as you are trying to learn, you want to fail and see how it works, whether it works or it doesn't work. So when you fail with that, it tells you that, okay, this didn't work. You try the next one, you pivot. And then that is what lean startup means.
So we advise young people, startups, start lean, start small. Start small, but knowing where you want to go. The moment the business keep on growing, keep on filling the core strategic areas and the core positions for your business.
You know, we started big, whereby even the amount we were paying the staff, our expenses were quite high. So I would lower the cost of running the business, start small, you know, designing with customers one by one without thinking of before scaling. When I got into insurance, I discovered there's a lot of friction between insurance companies, insurance agents, and customers. And every day I kept asking, why, how can we reduce this friction? Because customers would complain. I get to know that I was not covered when there's a claim. And the insurance, from their point of view, they have given all the information through a policy document. So I needed to understand what is the real problem. Most of the young people have their income is not consistent. So how do we enable them access, and also how can they access it hassle-free, conveniently, and at the comfort of their mobile phone?
Someone hit my vehicle, and the process was so long and tiresome because we kept calling the office, and it took like over 1 month to get the vehicle repaired, yet we were on comprehensive cover. So we felt that it would have been faster had we had someone who is assisting us with all the customer care process and all that stuff. Working with BSmart, I think I've loved their services. I don't get to deal directly with the insurance company. I deal directly with BSmart, which makes my work so easy because I just need to sit back and they'll handle everything else. Like I really don't need to walk into an office and get the insurance there and all that stuff. And just a click away, so to speak. We're in the digital era. We are in the 21st century, and things can be done in a better way. Things can be done in an easier way. So you find that if we have the startups that are bridging the gap, then it just works out very perfectly for the rest of us here.
The problem we are solving is actually in the insurance sector. The penetration of insurance in Kenya is very low, and actually in Africa, apart from South Africa, most of the African countries, the insurance penetration is very low. Now, when you look at the demography of Africa, we have a very young population. You know, median age, 19 years old. And the insurance has been selling the same old products, the same way, same distribution channels, but then it means they cannot access the current customer. My lifestyle has changed. It has become simpler and easier. You see, when you're employed, you're a bit extravagant because you see, you know that every month there'll be more money, and so you can see. When I was quitting my job, I had estimated that my savings would last me for 2 years. And before the end of the year one, the finances were over. Yeah, the other challenge was, you start this journey, you need a team, you need people who will believe in this dream, not because you're paying them a lot of money, but because they are here, they believe in your vision. You know, having people come online just because we have talked about it and buy through our platform, and counting them to now over 700 of them, for me, it's a big deal. It's quite a big success. And in 10, 15 years, we hope to have democratized insurance. When I say democratization of insurance, whereby it's an open market that anyone can get in and get, whatever products they want. And how we do that is that we're building an infrastructure that will be able to connect customers and insurance companies and existing African social groups and institutions to all be able to pull their risks together. Our expenses were quite high, so I would lower the cost of running the business, start small and with the customers, designing with customers one by one without thinking of before scaling. I think the first one was to quit my job. That's very important. There is no worse decision. Yes, because even that decision has really taught us a lot. So I would say, for me, it's not about whether the decision is good or bad. It is a decision has to be made at the time it needs to be made. My mantra is, whether it is right or wrong, make the decision. You will learn the lessons as you progress.
From around the world. Let's go.
Hello, welcome to Straight Talk Africa, live from the Voice of America headquarters here in Washington. I am Shaka Sali. Straight Talk Africa, we call it like it is. We discuss issues that reflect the interests of our audience without fear or favor. We are guided by facts, and I look at myself as a servant of nothing but the truth.
I was supposed to travel to Kisau for burial, and I spent the day very busy. I couldn't go to the bus park to book a bus and then come back to do whatever I'm doing, and then go back to the bus park. So in the evening when I'm going to travel and I really want to book a bus, I find that they are full. So while I'm there, a gentleman walks up to me and says, hey, if you really want to travel, then I have a ticket for you. I want you to travel, but I'm not traveling, so if you can add 10,000 shillings, I can give you this ticket. I'm like, okay, I'll add the 10,000 and get the ticket. And then I get onto the bus. Now when time for inspection comes, like when you're in a bus, they always inspect to see if you have a ticket. The guy inspecting tells me I have a fake ticket, and therefore I need to get off the bus or I need to pay for the ticket, for another ticket. Now that was the time when I was just done with university and I was broke, and the money I was going to pay was the money I thought would bring me back. So I pay the extra ticket. Now, when I come back to Kampala, I come back determined to find this guy because I thought this guy is in the bus park and I knew I could find him. And if I could find him, I would get him to give me back my money. At that time, 40,000 was a lot of money. It is still a lot of money. Yeah. So when in the bus back, looking for that particular gentleman, because I could remember the face, one other guy tells me, Wekoya, you're just you're just wasting your time. This happens every single day. In there, I realized that there were many passengers who were failing to book buses on time, and they were falling in the hands of such guys. Therefore, they were losing money. So I said to myself, I think there has to be a better way people book buses. Bus to bus, trying to find out which bus has space and which one does not have space. The whole challenge of you having to ask yourself how much do they charge, which buses go to this particular destination. Each single day I see people asking, which bus goes to this town? And I'm like, okay, just check it out on your phone. So all that entire problem that people face in using buses is what Yuga Bus is addressing through our digital products. So Yuga Bus will display a screen where you're supposed to put in where you're coming from and where you are going. Now let's assume you're going to Kisoro. And then you have your ticket. So the time of set off, you just display this particular SMS at the bus and you travel. It's as simple as that. You don't have to line up at the bus station or do anything. Yuga Bus.
I use Yuga Bus. When I learned about Yuga Bus and the excellent benefits, I found out that Yuga Bus saves time. When I'm busy doing my work, I log into their app and book the ticket. By the time I arrive, I find that my seat is reserved and they give the exact time that I asked for. That is why I use Yuga Bus.
One of the most common things is that I am always wearing Yuga Bus from Monday to Monday, and I've done that for the last 2 years. Like if you met me on Kampala streets, you'll find me either wearing a Yuga Bus t-shirt or a Yuga Bus shirt, no matter the day, whether it's a Sunday, Saturday, or whatever it is. But also, most importantly, Yuga Bus has taught me to care for the community. That if I care for the problems of other people, then I derive value out of caring for the community and also trying to ask myself, how best do I address the exact challenge that the community is facing, that the community I stay in. And also, most importantly, Yuga Bus has helped me understand how to handle my finances. Like, I mean, if you can carefully mobilize resources for the company and then also be able to allocate resources in the way they are supposed to be allocated, but also, most importantly, make sure that those resources don't go to waste, you realize that those lessons later on come from the company to my own personal life, and I'm a better human being.
The advice to someone who wants to be an entrepreneur, who wants to start something, is first to find that thing. You have to find it, you have to like it, and you have to find negative people to try to break you down. You have to go in a shaking environment. We call it piscine, like it's a pool. You go in a pool, when you are alive on the other side means you are good. So that's the first thing. You have to see something you believe in and which you can be shaken.
For someone who wants to become an entrepreneur, I think the best advice for them is to start. They just can't wait to have everything. You can't wait to have the right team, you can't wait to have the money, you can't wait to have the right idea. You just start. Eventually the idea modifies itself, the customers modify themselves, and even the right team comes on board when the problem you are solving is actually in existence.
It's important to have some experience when it comes to running a business. And I always say, volunteer. If you can't find a job, volunteer to work with somebody who you admire and learn how to run a business.
The second thing is to be ready to work, because nothing is magic here. Everyone who arrives somewhere is working day and night. You sleep when you have to sleep, not when you need or someone is telling you. You sleep when it's the time to sleep. Other time you really work hard because you are not alone. Your competitors are not sleeping. They have more resources. So have the passion, have that thing you want you like, then go for it. Go for it. Don't wait funds. Don't wait positive people to tell you. Just you have to believe and go for it.
Like I remember when we were just starting out, I used to think that at the moment you have an idea, you're successful. Until when I realized that, oh my God, an idea is just 2% of the entire venture. And then I thought to myself, okay, if we have the mobile app, then we are done. Until I realized that, oh, the app is just 10% of the work. Then I used to think that, you know what, if you build a very great product, customers will respond. No, instead you find the customer, address their problem, and then they come on board eventually.
When the idea comes, please test it.